All right, here we go. So, Aaron essentially is sitting on his ass, kind of stumbling backwards along the ground. As you kind of lord over him, this strange spectral magic flowing from your eyes, drifting off like mist into the midnight moonlight. You have successfully intimidated, and Aaron, just voice stuttering and faltering, looks up to you fairly desperately. Just, please, for your own good and for that of all of the people of this town, do not force me to say another word. It won't just be my head. My wife is already gone. Think of my daughter. I mean, please, don't make me say a word more. What do you do, chat? Opening the poll. So Aaron is pleading with you. You have successfully intimidated, and you can continue to threaten if you want. Remember that you have open control over what your voting choices are. So you can vote for whatever you want. But at some point, you'll have to start working together to make sure that you get a result. The violence here today, chat always chooses violence. It is known. Okay, so we have 2-2 split right now. We're gonna have to have a tiebreaker. If anybody feels like switching sides, stop threatening. Okay. So, Falcon with the tiebreaker here, closing the poll. Okay. So, you sort of back off ever so slightly. Your body language starts to relax, and you just let out a sigh. Trink kind of hobbles up next to you and pulls you to the side for a second. Yourself always keeping one eye on Aaron to make sure he doesn't move, and he seems to just be almost terrified, petrified himself almost in his inability to move or react. You can see that he is visibly shaking. Okay, so Trink pulls you aside. Listen, I know that this is unusual, and I know that results are sort of your thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, you're excellent at getting them, but I think it might be worth considering our approach here. As he said, I mean, he has family, this is his home, and we are strangers to this village. So, what would you like to do next, chat? Again, it is entirely up to you how you want to proceed. You can drop the topic entirely and go back to bed if that's what you want. But you know something is up, and you know that he knows something about it. Riley, I can't see chat. Riley, I cannot see. Riley, I cannot see chat. Please move. Offer peace sandwich. There it is. Vote apologize. Talk somewhere safer. Talk somewhere safer. Okay. All right. We'll go with that. It's already got 3 votes, so closing the poll now. All right. So you decide to offer the opportunity to speak about this somewhere safer, perhaps inside. And Aaron obliges. So you all head inside the inn once more. And the inn itself is completely empty. All of the wooden shutters are closed. There's little streaks of moonlight coming in through the gaps in the boards that currently are obscuring the windows themselves. Curtains pulled, which dimly lights the area. Aaron goes behind the bar and lights a candle and offers you a drink. Do you take the drink, chat? Trank, where are you? Where's your token, Trank? Why can't I find you right now? There you are. Hello, Max. Hello, Kitty. Thanks for stopping by, friends. I appreciate it. I know there's a lot going on today. Okay, so you accept the drink. You are poured a glass of wine. It is a fairly deep, kind of grape reddish purple. And you take a quick sniff. I want you to give me a perception check, chat. So, this is our first giveaway of the day. So we're going to take a whiff of the wine, as one would do in suspicious circumstances. Herb with the check bonus. Okay. Very nice. You all heard that, right? Just to make sure. Because I didn't. I've realized I have to change my audio settings here. CP alerts. Monitor and output. Oh, I didn't hear it. That's weird. We heard? Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, closing the giveaway. Kitty, please give us our roll for today. This is a perception check. This will have a modifier of +7. If anybody wants to see our character itself, you can open it there. Okay, so a 12 + 7 brings us to a total of 19. With that, oh, actually, plus the extra 2 from the check bonus brings us to a total of 21. I can do maths. Okay, so as you smell this wine, it's strange because it's not a warm drink, but you can see this wispy smoke that seems to float up from it after swirling around, almost like a vortex coming out from the top, and then you inhale it into your nose. And it's strange. You hear a number of voices kind of whispering in your mind. And the way that they speak, you catch a couple of glimpses of it. It's almost like somebody offering some kind of wine review, connoisseurs. As the spirits whisper to you, offering you information about this drink. And then there's one phrase that seeps into your mind as all of these voices seem to coalesce and join together. After a moment of silence, you just hear them all kind of one by one. It's safe. It's safe. It's safe. And you do not get a sense that this drink is in any way poisoned. So. All right, so you've accepted the drink. You know that it's safe. You take a quick sip. Trenk is looking at you very suspiciously, keeping a keen eye on the drink, and then you. And he waits about 10 seconds before taking a drink himself. And Aaron is also doing the same. So let me bring up my OneNote. So Aaron kind of leans over the bar and he says, listen, you know that there are strange things here. The first day that you arrived, I was honest. There was an outbreak of the undead. We did do our best to control the outbreak itself. But that's not all that has been happening. You see, some time ago, an adventurer sort of like yourselves, though he was traveling alone, he also came by and seemed, similar to yourselves again, just looking for a way to make some coin. But as I spoke to him more and I learned more about him, I found an inquisitiveness about this man that made me wonder if he was here for some sort of ulterior purpose. The way that he conducted himself was almost like an investigator. He asked a lot of questions about everything that happened, the things that we were dealing with, what was being done to try and resolve the situation. And it wasn't long before he confided in me that he was a monster hunter of sorts who had been hired to investigate the progressing situation. What's the problem, Sokai? Oh, sorry. You're right. My bad. Sorry, I'm a bit of a mess today. There you go. It's gone. Thanks for pointing that out. And it only took about, I want to say about a month before this man very suddenly and abruptly disappeared. He was becoming increasingly paranoid. And then one day he was just gone. And I never quite found out what happened to him. Now, I have found myself in a situation where I am being asked to report to an entity. And you can tell at this point that he's being very specific in his word choice about any new developments. And, it is my life and the life of my daughter that is being used as leverage. So I hope that you can understand what I tell you puts me and mine at risk. Okay. So I'm going to open up another poll. Are there any questions in particular that you want to ask him? Bearing in mind, he may refuse or use intentionally cryptic language to try and get around the situation that he has found himself in. So you are aware that you are not the first adventurers to show up here, but the last person who came by very suddenly disappeared. And Aaron has found himself in a situation where he is being asked questions and is being tasked with relaying information about newcomers to the town by some kind of unnamed, unknown entity or organization. Again, you don't have to ask anything. You can simply say that you're going to let it rest and go to sleep. But that is up to you. Do we know who's threatening him or no? No, you do not know. He was very intentionally vague and stuck to the, I don't know who this person is. You don't know if he's telling the truth about that. You can do a check to see, if you would like. Which would be like an insight check. There you go. So Shadow squared with the light check. Okay, Shadow, we'll open up a giveaway here to see, with an insight check, what we deem as truth, what may be embellished, or what may be straight up lies about what this person has said. I'll give it a couple of seconds and then we'll see who wins the giveaway. I'm sorry, Cass. It was really looking for a while there, like you were going to get all the rolls tonight, but okay, so another check bonus. So you're finding yourself in a situation where you feel as though you're getting a lot more control over your interactions with these spirits, these voices that whisper to you. And there's a clarity about those voices, about the intent of these spirits that is becoming much, much more obvious. And it's becoming much easier for you to, in of itself, interact with them in a meaningful way. Closing the giveaway. Okay, Herb, hit us with the roll. That was fast. Herb with a 17. Okay, so we have an insight of +5, I believe. Let me just double check. Insight of +5 plus another 2 brings us to 24 total. Okay, so there are a number of things. As Aaron is speaking, you're looking at him very intensely. And again, you're hearing these voices, some of you telling you, this is a lie. I think he's telling the truth. Various statements that come through as you stare intently at him and analyze him. And you can see that Trenk is starting to look at you very strangely and almost kind of like backing away from you a little bit on his stool. As there's something that's very clearly changed about your appearance during this time. But you're not obviously able to tell yourself. I'm chopping asparagus at the same time. Big. Good for you. Asparagus is delicious. Okay, so you determine that first and foremost, Aaron is definitely afraid of whoever this is. There is a very genuine fear for his life and possibly other people's about telling you anything more than he's already told you. And the way that he is speaking, it is very, very deliberate. He's being very, very cautious about the things that he says, probably to the point where if he was interrogated and he was to tell this individual or organization everything that he's just told you about your interaction, he feels that he might still be safe, regardless. So there is a lot of caution. There's definitely an intelligence behind it. He's thinking very quickly on his feet. There's a lot of very high intuition, but there are also some things that you just don't really buy. You get a sense that he does know who or what this entity is. That part you feel he is lying about. But you get the sense that he is doing that to protect himself and possibly you as well. So there's not ill intent behind it, but you definitely feel like there's a lot more to the situation that he is very deliberately holding back. He's not... you get the sense he's not really trying to deceive you. He's not trying to... he has no ill intent. He's not hiding this from you for the intent of hiding some grander scheme. But he is hiding it from you because he feels he needs to. Ask how to help. Okay, let me just prepare something over here real quick. Okay, so you ask him how to help. So there's an interesting moment here where his expression, at first, he seems relieved, but then a couple of seconds pass and his expression starts to change. His body language starts to change as he contemplates how to respond to this. And you get a response that you don't expect initially, but it starts to make sense to you after it's said. So his body language changes. He goes back to being more scared once again. And he kind of backs away from the bar. And this transition between this thoughtfulness and this fear is quite sudden. He says to you, "Listen to me carefully," backing away from you once again. "Folks like yourselves, there's no barrier that you won't cross. You'll risk drowning, literally, in deadly secrets if it means you'll find what you're looking for. It's buried deep down in your nature. I know people like you. I've known many people like you. It's buried deep under the bodies of the dead you leave behind. Death surrounds you like a putrid fog. Please do not dig more graves for us to satisfy your curiosity." And then he just kind of leans up against the back wall away from you. And you're looking at yourselves and Trenk and him, and everything is a bit more confusing. Trenk kind of tugs at your arm, and he just whispers into your ear, bringing you closer, saying, "I think we should go. What do you do?" Sorry, chat. My cat is she's really been feeling a lot of attention at a much earlier hour than usual. She's usually chilling around this time. Okay, so pretty much the same responses here. You finish your glass of wine, as does Trenk. You thank Aaron for cooperating as much as he was able. You offer a nod. Trenk offers an apology as you both turn, walking back out of the main building of the inn and then into the residential area at the back. Is there any conversation that you want to have with Trenk before you go to bed? Anything you want to say? Trenk simply says that you should just make sure you lock your door tonight and close the window blinds, the wooden shutters, just in case. I'm going to copy this text. I put it into the Discord. Not the Discord bait, but it's a lot easier than having it up on the screen. So I'm posting what he said into the Discord channel. Okay. So that's in the Twitch Plays D&D channel. Pat Trenk said, okay, so your kind of social interaction is not your strong suit. You sort of, your hand hovers there for a few moments and then you just kind of pat him on the head and he just looks up to you, just, you know I've been in 2 wars, right? And then just kind of chuckles to himself. And he slowly he just kind of holds your arm and then lifts it back down to your side. What do I think? Well, to be honest, I don't really know, but I get the sense that there was something in what he said. You saw it too, didn't you? The change in the way he was behaving was so sudden. almost deliberate. I get the sense that he was trying to tell us something without actually telling us. I'll ponder it before I try and get some rest if I can. Alright. So, I'll reset the poll real quick, just in case you have any finishing words. And you can let me know. If not, you can just leave and go to bed. Just want to make sure we're covering our bases here. Not to prompt you too much, just want to make sure everybody's getting their chance here. Herb, what are you doing? Okay. So you decide to take your leave and go to bed. Herb has decided to rein in the chaos. This one time. This is the one chance we get, chat. Be careful. Okay, so you both head back up to your rooms. And night falls. As it should. You sleep. On edge. But nonetheless, you manage to find rest as Alden periodically perks up to sniff the door, sniff the windows, and then curling back up on the end of your bed once again. Soon enough, the night comes to a close, and you find yourselves waking up in the morning with the birds outside, the cicadas dimming, and the sound of a day beginning in the town of Willowdale once again. So the day starts as you have finished putting on your armor, with Trank knocking on your door and asking to enter. Do you let him in? Very quick vote here. Speed vote. I like it, Bean. I like it. Let's pull out the pranks. Okay, I can also reset your resources here. You are level 4, by the way, now, as I've updated your statistics. Congratulations. You have increased health. You have more healing surges. And you now have the sharpshooter feat, which allows you to take a -5 penalty to your attack rolls, bringing it to a +3 instead of a +8. And if you still hit the target, you will do an extra 10 damage. Which means that if you hit with a sharpshooter shot, you will do 22 points of damage to the target. So it's a significant damage boost, but only if you hit the shot, which will become more difficult to do. You do not have to do it. It is a thing you can do on any of your attacks that are ranged attacks. But every time you choose to do it, you will have that penalty. Just so you're aware. So to give you an indication of how this would work, so let's say you have you want to do a sharpshooter shot on the wolf, you know? You would do something like vote attack, bow, sharpshooter. Like this. And that means that the shot that you're taking is a sharpshooter shot. That's how you would word it. All right. So, as you wake and you walk towards the door to let Trank in, there are a couple of things that you realize. You're seeing the world a little bit differently as you're becoming more accustomed to having the circlet of intelligence, the headband of intelligence, upon your brow. Everything seems more intricate. You're noticing more details, the grains in the wood as you approach the door, the way that the door handle turns, the sound that it makes. Everything about the world feels like it makes a little bit more sense. The workings of mechanisms and the minute details on something as simple as a log of wood. The grooves and curves and knots, all tying together to make a much clearer picture. As Trank opens the door, you notice similar things about him. You notice the crow's feet on his face. You notice areas of discoloration on his skin, indicating scarring. Things that one wouldn't ordinarily pay attention to unless they were looking very intensely. You're now starting to notice passively. He enters the room, closes the door behind him. You have a little bit of brief conversation, and he asks you if there's anything about Aaron's plea last night that you think that you should look into further. So, looking again at the things that he said, I'll repeat it to you. So, he said, "Listen to me carefully. Folks like yourselves, there's no barrier you won't cross. You'll risk drowning in deadly secrets if it means you'll find what you're looking for. It's buried deep down in your nature, under all the bodies of the dead you leave behind. Death surrounds you like a putrid fog. Please do not dig more graves for us to satisfy your curiosity." Are there any immediate thoughts that spring to mind? Trank has some thoughts of his own, but he is waiting to have your input first. You don't have to vote on anything, you can just talk amongst yourselves. I just want to see where your brains are at this point in time, before we move on to the rest of the day. You have not been to the Forlorn Parish yet, no. You know that this is where the undead have been quarantined, with the hope that one day they could be returned to life once again. The High Shields, the doctor couple that appeared in the town after the incursion began, they claim to be working on a cure. So this conversation is taking place between the two of you. I'm going to give you a series of clues. I'm going to put them on screen. Things that Trank has figured out. Let me just do this. Okay, so let me just move this over here. Can we do an intelligence check? You can. Give me an investigation check. Here you go. I'll open up the dice roll. First, I will, while you're doing this, I will type the clues that Trank gives you, and then we'll see what you learn past that with your intelligence check. So, one second. So the first thing he talks about is the fact that Aaron specifically asked you to listen carefully. So there are specific words that he thinks are important. Barrier. Drowning. buried. And then he mentions death twice. Death or dead. And then graves. So these are the words that Trenk believes are important. Okay, closing the giveaway. This is going to be an investigation check. Cass. Here we go. Oh, actual other Cass. Hello, Cass and Cass. I don't know anything about D&D. Well, here you go. I'll play a little video for you two, just to get you introduced to how we're playing. Okay, so this has a fairly decent modifier for you. It's not awful, but it's also not fantastic. So you essentially search your mind for some kind of link between these phrases, and you can't pin together anything of real significance. You're sure that there's something in there. You're sure that there's some kind of narrative, ulterior story that you can spin together from these words, but you're struggling to find it at this point in time. Since Cass is new here, I hope you guys will bear with me. What I'm going to do very quickly is play that intro video one more time so that Cass will understand how the game works. So I'll see you guys in 3 minutes. So this is essentially a quick video, Cassulus, that will explain how the game is played so that you can join in if you so desire. Hello everyone! To get you primed for the Twitch Plays D&D sessions, here's a little introduction video. Dungeons & Dragons is a tabletop role-playing game, focused around interactive storytelling and turn-based combat. It works in a similar way to video games that you're probably familiar with. You have a character, they are good or bad at different things, and you work towards completing a goal. However, unlike most modern media, in Dungeons & Dragons you have the freedom to come up with your own solutions. Because every decision is made by real people in real time, as opposed to programmed in advance, you can technically attempt anything, so long as you can imagine it. That's not to say you'll actually be successful at seducing that dragon though. Bard. That's where dice come in. You roll a 20-sided die, you add the modifier that represents how good your character is at completing that kind of task, and in most cases you either succeed or fail as a result. Playing a rogue? Chances are you're good at stealth, so you'll have a higher modifier to add to the roll and are therefore more likely to succeed at sneaking past those guards than the brutish paladin. Usually, D&D is played with groups of people, with each player controlling a single character, and a dungeon master or DM controlling the world itself and narrating the story as it unfolds. We, however, will be playing in a more unique format, designed to allow people of all levels of experience to participate in the epic storytelling. You, Twitch chat, control a single character. Throughout the stream, I, the DM, will ask you what you want your character to do. A poll will open on the screen, and you can cast your vote by typing !vote, space, and then your answer. This can be anything from attacking with your sword to offering a sandwich. You can change your vote at any time by simply voting again. The option with the most votes will win, and that is the action your character will take. If your action would require a dice roll to determine the result, such as the previously mentioned stealth attempt, a dice giveaway will open for everyone to enter by typing !dice. If you win, you're granted permission to roll the dice on screen. I'll then do some quick maths and narrate the outcome based on the total result. That's it! Keep your eyes and ears sharp for opportunities to vote, enter giveaways, and discuss plans with your fellow chatters. My name is Hecate, your Dungeon Master, and welcome to Twitch Plays D&D. Okay, I hope that is vaguely useful to you. But you can learn as you go, and just as a reminder, you don't need to know that much about Dungeons and Dragons to really get involved. It's basically like most other RPGs that you've played, except that you essentially have the freedom to dictate actions that are not available in a pre-selected, group of things that the game allows you to do. You have a lot of freedom to figure out your own thing. So, these are the clues that Trank has given you. At this point in time, Cass, there's a fair amount that's happened in the story. If you want to get caught up, if you find that you're actually compelled by what's happening, there is a document of all of the sessions with little summaries. But don't worry about that too much right now. All that matters is whether or not you enjoy kind of hanging out and being a part of the story and rolling dice and all that good stuff. So you're trying to put together this story in your head, what this might mean, but you're really struggling to. Obviously, you can still draw your own conclusions as a group of people, as Twitch chat. It doesn't mean that you have no idea what to do. Trank does say, at the very least, he seems to think that it does have something to do with the Forlorn Parish. He just doesn't know exactly what. So you do have that option open to you. The day has started. It's not long before Roga shows up at your door, asking in very broken common if you want to come downstairs and essentially eat your breakfast, drink, though not too much, and prepare for whatever it is that you're going to do today. So you all head downstairs. You catch a couple of glimpses from Aaron the barkeep. He seems to be doing his absolute best to act normal, quote unquote. If there is anything that you want to ask, you are absolutely free to do so. One thing that does happen during your breakfast, the inn is filling up with various people who are also coming here to eat, tossing the odd coin back and forth in a little bit of morning betting, some of them wagering their breakfast on mundane tasks and occurrences, some winning, some losing. But generally speaking, the spirits of the people within this establishment are high, and you and Trank are doing your best to not necessarily talk about anything that may be sensitive information at this point in time. But a messenger sits down at your table in one of the spare seats. This messenger is a young half-elf girl. Oh, hang on a second. We'll get into that in a moment. Susanna, hello! Susanna, thank you so much for the raid. What? Welcome.
Did you get into
Let me
my
get you
house?
caught up real quick, Susanna, on everything that's just happened in the session so far. Hello, raiders. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for stopping by. How was your stream, Susanna? Let me give you a shout out. Everybody stop by Susanna's stream sometime. Drop her a follow. Incredibly wholesome, fantastic streamer, and an amazing part of our community. Thank you very much, Susanna. Animal Crossing, let's go. So many things to do. It never ends. All right, so to get you caught up, if you remember, at the end of the last session, you had essentially intimidated Aaron the barkeep, who had been having some kind of secretive communication meeting with an unidentified individual around the back of the inn. After you came back from your midnight walk, you stumbled across this. You confronted him, and stumbling over his words, Aaron essentially admitted to a number of things. You were ushered inside to somewhere where a little bit safer, and Aaron disclosed to you that at the behest of some kind of unknown entity or individual, he was being tasked with essentially relaying information about any changes or any newcomers that came to the town. Because, and he disclosed this to you, a couple of months ago, an adventurer had come by. I didn't say this adventurer's name, they had been investigating the outbreak of undead that the town had suffered about a year ago. And within about a month, this individual's behavior had changed to become increasingly more paranoid. And all of a sudden, with no warning, this individual suddenly disappeared. This lends itself slightly to the conversation that you had with the gnomish librarian the day prior, when you were investigating the thefts, who told you to be extra careful. He seemed to know something as well. You did a lie check on Aaron as this conversation was taking place, and you got a sense that essentially he was, for the most part, speaking in a way that was protecting him and also potentially you. He definitely seemed to have an idea of who or what this entity was that was asking him to do these things. But he was not disclosing that information to you to try and protect you, basically. So you're aware that there is definitely something going on. You decided not to pry too much, but your conversation with Aaron during that night did result in a riddle of sorts being thrown your way. And that is currently in the Discord, but I will read it to you one more time in case anybody else needs it. Aaron said the following words to you, very specifically, and you got a sense that there was a lot of intent behind the words that he used, that it might be useful if you decide to investigate further. He said, "Listen to me carefully. Folks like yourselves, there's no barrier you won't cross. You'll risk drowning in deadly secrets if it means you'll find what you're looking for. It's buried deep down in your nature, under the bodies of the dead you leave behind. Death surrounds you like a putrid fog. Please do not dig more graves for us to satisfy your curiosity." This seemed like maybe a vague warning about the circumstances, but you got a sense from that there was more intent behind some of those words specifically. Like he might have been trying to tell you something without literally telling you outright. So right now we're in a situation where everybody has woken up, they've had a rest, they're getting breakfast, and you're trying to figure out what to do next. A messenger has just stopped by your table. They introduce themselves as Lisa, and let you know that she is one of Lucas Amberon, the town mayor's squires, and she has been sent here to deliver you a message. Now, if you remember, your interactions the day prior with Lucas Amberon were not necessarily positive. You had gone to speak with him about your reward for essentially investigating and solving the thefts that had taken place. And considering you had gone above and beyond, you essentially tried to barter with him for an increased reward. He did not comply. And you left on fairly bad terms. However, this messenger seems to have been sent by Lucas Amberon in some kind of attempt to repair the relationship. She says that Lucas Amberon has graciously agreed to pay you double for the next job that you do, in the hopes that you will continue to work towards the good of all Willowdale. And Trent kind of shoots you a slightly suspicious look. The timing may be a little bit too convenient. Riley, stop sitting in front of chat. Please move. Please move. And then she bows, takes her leave, and heads back out into the town. So, at this point in time, it's up to you what you want to do next. You can obviously start to investigate things like the wolf attacks that have been taking place, which is one of the other missions that have been offered to you. There was also the crab issues that they were having down by the docks, the Mariner's Hush, down to the east. So you have regular work to do if that is what you want to do. And Lucas Amberon has offered to pay you double for your next job, as an quote-unquote apology without actually saying I'm sorry. And you also know that there is something going on. and the Forlorn Parish may be the place where you might find answers. So, what would you like to do, chat? I'm going to move this over here. Hang on, this is not working for some reason. Let's try it again. There we go. Where were the wolves? It was pretty non-specific, Sokite. Just that they seem to be a problem all the way around the forest areas surrounding the town. It was very kind of non-specific. Just a very general problem that was taking place. It's true, you could in a similar way to the day prior, you could essentially take on 2 missions at once. You could investigate the Forlorn Parish or the barrier around it, the water, the lake, while simultaneously moving out to investigate other things as well. Let the crabs rave, I say. Okay. So, taking a few moments to, think about and discuss within your group what you're going to do next, you decide to put investigating further into the Forlorn Parish and the undead problem that's going on and this mysterious entity that suddenly you're now aware of. You decide that, put that on the back burner for now, not to, worrying about potentially how the town may perceive you if you start getting too nosy too quick. It might be better to kind of build a bit more of a reputation before you do any of that. So you decide to head out towards the Marinus Hush. Okay, so finishing your breakfast and setting out. Let me just tick these off. As you exit the inn, you see a familiar face. Perched on a tree branch, looking over the doorway to the Windbrook Inn itself, is Alaric, the the cat wizard that you had rescued from the underground burrows, who kind of disappeared amongst the ruckus of the previous night's entertainment. So Alaric speaks down to you, this kind of grayish-brown moggy cat with a backpack strapped over the shoulders, the front legs. I was worrying when you were going to, do anything. I assume you've had some rest? Ready to start the day once again? Just kind of licking a paw, and then realizing that he's licking a paw and seemingly being ashamed of that cat-like action. It's spelled like this, just so you're aware. So Alaric speaks again. Listen, I know that I can be a little bit difficult to get along with at times, but I think I can be useful to you, and to be perfectly honest, I don't quite fancy wandering these woods again on my own. I mean, you saw what happened last time I did that. I would surely hate to spend more time in a cage than with all of you, so, if you decide that you could use a little bit of extra, magic in your lives, then, who am I to decline? So, what do you say to this chat? Do you want Alaric to join your party? Vote yes. Just vote yes, chat. Okay. Closing the vote. All right, so you agree, saying that you could definitely use somebody with Alaric's abilities. He seemed a little out of his depth against the giant worms that you had fought the previous day. But nonetheless, you recognize the fact that having somebody with arcane capabilities would be very, very useful. You and Trank both have abilities on your own, but they are of a different family of magic than the things that Alaric is able to do. So, Alaric hops down very graciously and gracefully and starts kind of trotting alongside you on the other side of Owlden. Every so often you catch Alaric glancing at Owlden's beak, and they kind of just look at each other for a couple of moments, and it's almost as if Owlden is licking his lips, and Alaric's hair just starts to kind of stand on end, trying to make himself a little bit bigger and more threatening, but nonetheless continuing to travel on the other side of you. As yourself, Roga, your total companion, Trenk, Owlden, and Alaric set off for a day's work. You're traveling eastward towards the Willow Halls, where you see an individual perched up against a road sign, and they strike you as interesting just from the way that they are dressed. This individual stands about 6 foot tall, practically dressed in a formal frilled white shirt, buttoned up to the top, and black trousers, formal wear for all intents and purposes. The one thing that you pick up, again, with your enhanced perception and ability to ascertain details about things that you see, you notice that the outfit that they wear is almost immaculately clean, apart from around the ankles, where the trousers have clearly been dirtied by travel. They have jet black wavy hair that rests on the tip of their shoulders, with dark brown eyes to match. Pale white skin dotted with light freckles as you get closer. This individual turns to you almost immediately, and this voice speaks out to you. Ah, there you are. I was wondering when I'd be able to make your acquaintance. And she moves over to you, bowing slightly. The name is Akara Highshield. At your service. This name immediately, obviously striking some kind of tone with you as this name Highshield is used. This is one of the 2 doctors, the couple that came here a number of months ago, about a year ago, around the time of the undead outbreak. Do you introduce yourself? Trank immediately introduces himself. Roga attempts some kind of introduction, but doesn't seem to be quite familiar with the mannerisms of your people, of quote-unquote civilized life, but clasps a hand nonetheless as it is offered. Okay, so you offer an introduction, introducing yourself as Villandria Ithildreden. She speaks up once again. As a point, Alaric does not say a word. Just kind of plunks his butt down on the grass as you begin to speak, slightly behind one of your legs. A little bit out of sight, but not, attempting to hide immediately. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. I suppose it was only a matter of time before we crossed paths, so I'm grateful it is today. Thank you again for helping with Hunter's situation. We're not intimately involved in any meaningful way, but I'm perfectly aware of what they mean to this place and the things that they do for everybody. I'm glad that there was somebody prepared and ready to take on the job. I've heard some of the details about it, but not all of them, understandably. I was just in town delivering some texts to the locals for the aspiring physicians. Some of our notes on the developments of late. There are a lot of people you can understand that are interested in the medical arts, as I like to call them. I assume you're somewhat familiar with the situation we found ourselves in here. There are a lot of people who are eager to contribute to the effort of returning the loved ones to them. So that you're aware, as per Hunter's situation, I have sent for an order of diamond dust, which would allow my husband to perform the necessary magic to return that poor dog back to life again. It may take a little while for them to get here, but hopefully not too long. You hate to see people separated in such ways. Seems a bit cruel. So, if you don't mind me asking, where are you from? You're a curious bunch of travelers moving together. No offense, it's just, you look like you have a story. How do you answer this question? As Akara High Shield asks you where you're from. Interesting, Sokai. I mean, yeah, why not? It's not a lie. It's not a lie. So if anybody has any ideas about what they would say, you can obviously you can tell the truth. Or you can make up some kind of story. That is entirely your choice. You do not know this individual. You've been told from multiple sources to just be a little bit cautious in the town. And you're not necessarily the deceptive type, but you know that at times it is necessary. I'll just let this sit for a little bit because I want to make sure that we are working together as a team. So right now we have Sokite, who is voting to say, we fell from the sky. Max is opting to say that you're from the town. But we're currently 1-1, so we will need some kind of tiebreaker or a new option that people prefer. Also, I should put my wrist brace on because I'm a boomer with bad wrists. Okay, so you decide to tell the truth in a very interesting way as the conversation starts with you admitting that you fell from the sky. Trank fills in the blanks of this story moving forward after introductions. And relays just enough detail to explain the fact that you were on an airship and it crashed, and that you and your companions barely escaped with your life. Trank admitting that he almost didn't escape with his life at all if it wasn't for the help of yourself and the others. So Akara High Shield kind of sighs. I'm so very sorry. When Matthias came back with all those bodies, we weren't entirely sure what had happened. We worried that there'd been some new terrible occurrence in the town, and when we rushed down here to see what had happened, we found things more or less the same. However, it wasn't long following Matthias's tracks before we found the site of the crash. I'm assuming from it that you are the only survivors. I'm very sorry for your loss. If they were your crew, then it must have been very difficult for you to leave them like that, though sometimes it is admittedly necessary. Okay. So, there's a follow-up question. If I might ask, what brought you to Willowdale? It's not the usual, how should I say this? Tourist location? I mean, we're not too far from the other towns necessarily, at least a day or two's travel to the next place, but why here? As this question is asked to you. How do you respond? I gotta write these responses down real quick. Don't worry, it's not consequential. Vote it was the nearest place. All right. Again, not a lie. Are you thick, love? Herb is... Okay, you know what? Give me a perception check. A thickness check. Right, closing the giveaway. Blam. Sokite. Hit us with the thickness check. All right, so I'm going to go somewhere. I'm going to think this is more of a perception check at this point. So +7 brings us to a total of 16. As this conversation is taking place, you're doing your usual thing. You're trying to suss people out. You're trying to notice any details about them that might be significant. Looking at Akara High Shield, when it comes to her appearance, for most people, you would definitely consider her to be an attractive woman. She seems to be of human lineage. Best you can tell, there are no signifiers that indicate that she has horns or pointed ears. Her skin, despite its paleness, seems fairly normal for somebody of human birth. And you would say her build is slight. She seems to move well, quite elegantly. That indicates that she eats well, probably takes some kind of exercise. But she is what you would consider to be an attractive woman in her, maybe... It's hard to tell in this kind of magical world that you live in, but at a glance you would say about early 30s. Whatever this person might be, they clearly take care of themselves. And her sharp features are maybe a little bit unusual, but still attractive. Definitely striking in her appearance for numerous reasons. Seduce them? I mean, it's not gone well for you in the past, but maybe today is the day. The gays are winning? Yeah. And we love that. We love when the gays win. Just to remind you, you have a -2 to your persuasion checks. Just putting it out there. Just putting it out there so that you are perfectly aware of how this might go. Oh yeah, it's... Charisma is your worst stat by a fairly significant margin. I believe you're, is it 7? Yeah, your charisma is 7. So it's a -2 to this check. But today might be the day. Okay. So I'm going to open the dice roll. ! Dice. To enter this giveaway. And see what the result might be. So Kite's trying to bypass? Damn. Chill out, So Kite. Herb with the bonus as well. Okay, so with the help of the spirits, you get your big gay bonus. Very nice, Herb. Your words, not mine. Which will cancel out the negative modifier, so it will just be a... Ironically, I was gonna say straight roll, but given the circumstances, that is not correct. It will just be a natural roll. Let's put it that way. With no modifier and no penalty. Okay, closing the giveaway. Cass! All right, Cass, your first roll. Let's get it. Okay, so this at the moment is just a natural 8. However, you approach this attractive woman and you attempt to alter your body language in a way that is more open, but you soon realize that maybe you're coming on a little strong, and you've maybe the tempo of your words, of your approach, of your advances are a little bit alarming, perhaps. However, Trank comes in with the assist. He starts to regale of how trustworthy you are, how strong of a leader you've been, and this will allow us to do the roll with advantage. So we're going to have another dice roll, and we will take the highest number. So 8 is now our baseline. We can go higher, but if we roll lower than an 8, we still take the 8. Trank, perceptive enough, understanding enough of human behavior that he notices what's happening and tries to back you up. Today is the 1st of May. It is the 1st of May. Till next week to redeem normal reward. Wait, what's the normal reward? Oh, okay. You're trying to do VIP for someone. I get it. Okay, closing the giveaway. Sokai. All right, Sokai, come on, dude. You had a redemption roll earlier. We need another one. Oh, let's go. Okay, so with this assists, your words, although they fall heavily, you they start to soften as Trank starts to back you up. You realize your insight is high enough that you realize that he is desperately trying to help you out here, and that helps you to realize that you are somewhat fucking this up. So you have another attempt. You soften your body language, you soften your tone, and you start to use a little bit more flattery, appraising Akara Highshield for her clear skill in deduction and other things, and let her know that you would love to get to know each other a little bit better. She seems receptive, or at the very least, she doesn't seem to... Okay, let's put it this way. Your advances are noticed, and she seems to appreciate the advances, but you're not really sure at this point if anything will come of it. All you know is that you haven't made an ass of yourself. And it was very close. And she simply responds, well, that does sound lovely. If you would like to spend some more time together, you are very welcome to swing by our estate, and you can have dinner with me and my husband. And there's this moment where Trank and you are just kind of like, But nonetheless, you have been invited formally to stop by their mansion. She says, we're a little busy tonight, but perhaps tomorrow or any day thereafter, just give us a little bit of notice. You can send one of Amberon's squires or anybody that you want to throw a couple of coins to, and you can ask them to relay the message to us so that we can properly prepare dinner, of course. Okay. So I'm also going to note that down. There was an attempt. Okay. Okay, so the next question that she asks is this. So you're here. Are you looking to settle here for a time, or are you intending to be on your way once you've earned the coin necessary? Traveling can be expensive, and you want to make sure you're prepared, of course. I'm just curious if we should start building some kind of relationship. Okay. What do you respond with, chat? You can tell by this that, the words have altered ever so slightly to better suit the circumstance after your display of interest. Oh no, chat, what's happening? Do I need to go and get at the inflatable hammer? Is that what I need to do? I know, Shadow, but it's Twitch chat. You gotta accept it. Okay. So you kind of let this slip. Not really thinking too much about your words. They just kind of fall out of your mouth in a very forward display that she slightly nervously chuckles about. But then her body language relaxes once again. Just, okay, well, we would be happy to have people as capable as yourselves around here for as long as you feel this is the place that you want to be. A lot of our local guard, they fell in the outbreak of the undead, and well, as you can probably understand, this is not necessarily a otherwise desirable location. We don't really get travelers. We haven't really been able to train enough people to refill the ranks. And that has left us somewhat understaffed when it comes to a lot of the things that no doubt people have requested you take care of, such as, the wolves, the thefts, all sorts of little bits and bobs that we don't really have a lot of people qualified to take on anymore. So, people like yourselves, well, we're happy to have you for as long as you'd like to be here. Okay. So I will put yes, looking to stay for some time. So she looks to you, looks to your companions. Well, it's been nice to have introductions. Well, I suppose I might see you soon. As I said before, just drop word by when you intend to come around, and we can prepare a lovely meal and session for all of us. You and your friends, of course. You're all invited. Together. She kind of just smiles and winks at you. All right. So, with that, she turns and takes her leave, walking down... Actually, you know what? She walks with you as you're having this conversation. She walks with you towards the residential district, but then she parts ways with you at the fork in the road as you go around the southern side of this this crowded area, and she goes up into the residential district herself. As you continue on towards the Mariner's Hush. Okay. So there's a little bit of a walk, about 20 minutes or so, towards the halfway points of this pathway. You can just see on the horizon the next fork in the road as it rests upon an incline as the natural road begins to arc upwards to a hill. At this point, you hear something off to your right, up at an elevation where you imagine it's up on this ridge that you can see a good, I want to say, how far away from you would that be? About 200 meters in the distance and slightly up. Your keen ear and your ability to deduce, having been increased by the headband that you wear, that this is the location of this sound. There's some kind of altercation taking place. You feel the vibration of something slamming into the ground this distance away, and it travels towards you and almost tickles your feet. No one else in your group seems to notice this, and then you hear some kind of faint barking sound in that direction. You're not entirely sure what the animal might be, but there is definitely something taking place between a large creature and some kind of other creature within the forest itself. I need you to give me a perception check. I'm going to remove Trink's clues from the board as well. We don't need to see that right now. Okay, so this will be with our regular old plus 7. Okay, closing the giveaway. Okay. Herb, give us our perception check, please. 8 plus 7, total of 15. Okay, so with that, you're waiting for a few moments. You kind of stop in the path, leading forwards, and your companions all kind of slow down to a halt as they realize that you've heard something in the distance. You wait for a couple of seconds, just listening out with a keen ear. You hear a low groaning sound, though you can't really tell if it's a word or something else. And then you hear what is very clearly a faint howling of a wolf. What do you do? Awoo! Exactly, you get it. So what's the vote? Awoo? You howling back? Okay, give me a performance check, chat. Given your knowledge of creatures, and your pretty extensive hunting experience, the number you need to roll will be pretty low. Okay, closing the giveaway. Casanthus, give us that performance roll. It's got a -2, but the number is very low that you need to hit, so. I can't believe that. So I'm gonna give you a perfect representation of what this sounds like, chat. Oh, that's exactly what it sounds like. And your companions just look to you with complete confusion, as far as they're aware, you've just very suddenly stopped moving, stared into nothingness for about 5 seconds, and then let out a warbling howl that barely seems to resemble anything in particular. It sounds like you're just having a very interesting moment to yourself, with very little explanation. And they're just staring at you. So, having done this, what's your plan? Are you going to approach the sound to see what was going on? Or are you going to ignore it and move on? As you're having this thought, there's one more sound that you hear. It seems to be the distant falling of a tree in the same direction. You just hear this. It's very quiet. Is it a kitty? That'd be a big ass fucking cat. But maybe. Okay, we currently have 2 on ignore. We're gonna need some kind of decision here. So you know that there's some kind of confrontation happening between a large creature and possibly a number of wolves. You're not entirely sure. And it is about 200 to 300 meters away from you. Away, up over a ridge, out of sight. Okay, so you decide that despite your failed attempt to make some kind of communication between you and possibly a wolf, has no effect, but you're going to investigate nonetheless. As Trenk, Roga, and Alaric all look towards you, even Owlden looking up at you with this look of confusion, all just kind of look to each other and go, okay, well, following your lead then, as Trenk speaks up. Always the first to advocate, following your instruction, as you have become the de facto leader of your adventuring group. And you begin walking into the forest. At this point, you are fairly confident that you can walk normally at a, brisk pace for about 200 meters before you're at risk of alerting anything that may, be lurking beyond. So what I want to ask you is, as you move into the forest and you find a narrow pathway that winds up the side of this ridge, are you proceeding further into the forest stealthily? Or are you rushing, essentially, to get there as fast as possible? It's taken you 5 minutes at a brisk pace to get to this ridge, as opposed to, just a very leisurely walk that you were walking at before. You're now kind of almost at a point where it's a light jog. And now you're getting within range of whatever creature may be further in. Stealth? Okay. So, I need a dice roll from you, chat. I will be rolling for the NPCs. So, for Trenk, Roga, and Alaric, and we'll do one for Alden as well from you. Let me just check all the modifiers real quick. Check that off. Check that off. check bonus. Very nice, Shadow. Okay, so once again, calling upon these voices for aid. Gonna close the giveaway. Shadow squared. Hit us with the roll. $10. Okay, so you currently have a modifier of +9. Calling upon the spirits for aid, that brings us to a total of +11, so 21 total. So as you see this strange mist that seems to seep out from your pores at times, you feel for a moment as if it's coating your skin, or at least covering it with something that seems to resist friction. It's almost as if parts of your armor are lifting just a few millimeters off your skin and gliding as your limbs move. I'm going to need one more dice roll for Owlden. So this is for your Owlbear companion to see how stealthily Owlden moves through the forest. And I am going to roll my dice while we wait for that to happen. So feel free to enter again. This first roll on the screen is going to be from Trank. Oh, sorry. I wasn't supposed to close it that early. Sorry. Sorry, Max. I've debated you. I'm opening it one more time. I pressed the wrong button. Sorry, Max. Sorry, you can enter again, everybody. Sorry. I was supposed to hit this button. Okay, so... Trank goes from a 19 to a 3. Trank, consistent as always, is struggling to be quiet in moments where it matters. Roga does decently. And Alaric is doing a pretty good job bounding over bushes and over fallen branches and over roots as we travel through the undergrowth, giving Alaric much more of a tough time than it would the rest of you with your regular sized legs. Okay, closing the giveaway. Hey, the timeline is maintained, Max. All right, Max. Okay, so it's not amazing, but Alden does also get your spirit bonus from the channel points, and Alden's stealth, I believe, is... Let me double check. Didn't have that open for some reason. One sec. Okay. Yeah, so it's not bad. Alden as well seems to be tripping over the odd branch, but is not making a obscene amount of noise. Traveling as quietly as you can given the circumstances as you're trying to make some haste towards your location. Your group is traveling through, but overall you feel as though between all of you helping each other where you can, pointing out something that they might trip over or trip into or step on with their feet, you manage to proceed as far as you can tell unnoticed. Okay, I just need a quick second here, chat. Do I still have the screen? Oh, did I get rid of that? I'm silly, chat. That's fine. So, what I'm gonna do is do this. One second. Okay. So, as you approach the edge of this tree line that you're traveling through, you notice, you start to hear the sound of multiple wolves fighting with some kind of large groaning creature. And as you approach the tree line itself, as it exits into a small glade, you notice what is unquestionably Matthias, the giant-like creature. These long, extended limbs that almost drag across the ground, and this large cage upon his back. Draped in ragged cloth and linens, covering the face and areas of the torso and down the legs. They're clearly involved in some kind of confrontation. It is up to you if you want to intervene. What would you like to do? So this could be as simple as you could wait and see how the fight unfolds. You could join in the fight now. You could check to see who's winning. Everything like that. Third party, yeah? Any third partiers in the chat? So slightly over here. Okay, so currently we have 2 for only observe. I'm gonna give you all a quick second here because there's a couple of albeit funny answers, but those people may want to change what they want to vote for to get an answer. Only observe. Okay, looks like we're going with observation first. So I need a perception check from you, chat. We're going to observe and see what details about this confrontation you notice before deciding whether or not to take action. Let me open something here. Oh, I don't want speech recognition. What are you doing? Okay. So, closing the dice giveaway. Okay, Susanna, please give us our perception check. It will have a +7 to the roll. Okay, so with a total of 9, not your best. You're a little confused and a little bit conflicted as to how you want to approach the situation. Your group moves closer so that you have a better point of observation on this battle taking place. You can clearly see the tree that has been collapsed by this confrontation. Matthias is very clearly surrounded from almost every angle. Escape has been more or less cut off as this larger dire wolf leading this pack of the smaller of its kin are biting out at Matthias's extended arms as they drag, and at the heels, at the legs, some of them jumping up to bite at the torso and on the thighs. It seems as though Matthias is losing this fight. It doesn't take much to notice that Matthias is stumbling backwards, just kind of desperately lashing out, swinging these long limbs, attempting to hit something, occasionally smacking into the side of one of these wolves, clearly injuring it, but there are too many of them and all of these angles surrounding him. It's just so easy for them to land their blows. So what would you like to do? Now that you understand the situation a little bit better. You can still decide to wait, or you can intervene, or simply leave and be on your way. The choice is up to you. Head empty, who is Matthias? So Matthias, you found out later that Matthias was the giant-like creature that was dragging the cage where you found Trank after the airship crashed. Matthias had seemingly gathered up all of the dead into this cage and was taking them somewhere. You later learned that Matthias is responsible for this specific duty, making sure that all people who die in and around Willowdale are cremated so that they cannot be reborn in undeath. To try and prevent any spreading of a new plague that might come about. Okay, so it looks like we are entering battle. So give me a hot second here, chat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open a dice roll for our initiative check while I set up the music, set up the combat, and we will dive into it. So, opening the giveaway, this is our initiative check to determine the order of combat. D&D operates on a turn-based system, so we have the person who reacts fastest with the highest roll. It goes all the way down to the bottom of the list, then the round starts again at the top. So, let's change the music. And I will put our combatants into the list. All right. Then we have one of these. And then we have 4 of these. All right. Attack bonus from Herb as well. Okay, so we are going to start off this initiative here with an attack roll from you. Let's see what you roll for your initiative. Okay, Bean, please give us our initiative check. We have a +5 to this roll. Natural 20! Okay, so it's not a crit technically, but it's the highest you could possibly roll, so we start with 25. Oh, hang on, I haven't added Alaric to this combat. 1 second. Sorry, chat. That'll do. Okay, so first of all, I need an attack roll from you, chat, as you start with your shot that initiates the combat. Readying your bow. Readying your bro. Always ready your bros, chat. Okay. This. Okay, so you got 25. And we have everybody else's roll there, so that's great. Okay, closing the giveaway. Cass. Cassulus. Cassulus. Okay, so the way this works is, because it's a sharpshooter shot, our bonus is +3, which brings it to a total of 16. We are shooting at target number 1, and target number 1's AC is lower than that, so you land this shot. So you fire off this sharpshooter shot from your bow. There is an impressive velocity behind this arrow, as it seems as though Trenk and Roga are both watching you draw the arrow. They are drawing their weapons from their sides, getting ready to engage, but it's like they blinked and the arrow is gone from your bow, as it shoots through the air, slams into this creature's side, and it is rearing up to scrape down with both of its front paws on Matthias's back, and you shoot and it sticks right through one of the paws, then into the other, and then the creature comes down and the arrow breaks inside the paw, still stuck there like an enormous thorn. and it just yelps in pain as you deal 22 damage to the direwolf. All right, so because we are now starting initiative, you get to go again, chat, because you rolled the highest. So, what would you like to do? You can obviously choose to shoot it again. To give you a breakdown of what you can do on your turn in a fight, every character or creature has an action, it has their movement, and they potentially have something called a bonus action, which only certain abilities qualify for. You can do all of those things in whatever order you want to. The most common use of an action, which is the most significant thing you do on a turn, is attacking with your weapon. So, as we can see in the chat right now, Bean is voted to attack. Bean has now changed it to Hunter's Mark. So Hunter's Mark is a spell that you have as a ranger, which allows you to do bonus damage to a creature and also track its movements more easily. So this expends a spell slot and allows us to do an extra 3 damage when we hit, which would, if we sharpshooter, do 25 damage. Okay, thank you. So thank you thank you for specifying a target. It makes my life a lot easier. That's what the numbers are for. So I'm going to mark off 1 spell slot here, as you are now concentrating on a Hunter's Mark spell. Let me mark that down. So concentrating Hunter's Mark, as we are going to start doing concentration checks pretty soon. All right, so casting this spell, you feel the link between yourself and this creature's essence. You feel the you see the strange spirit energy coursing through veins beneath the fur and beneath the skin, outlying vital parts of its anatomy, and you see the more precise areas that you can strike with an arrow to do extra damage. So that's your bonus action done. What would you like to do with your action? I'm assuming it's attack, but we have to make sure we check every time. Hunter's Mark is a bonus action to cast, so you still have your attack if you wish to take it. Oh, we're looking to do another sharpshooter. Okay. I like that you're instantly like, yes, I want to take risks all the time. Let's go. Attack bonus from Susanna as well. Okay. So with this second strike, you're fueling pretty much everything you have, both your magical and martial ability, to try and finish this fight as soon as possible and eradicate the greatest threat immediately. So, opening the dice giveaway. Exclamation mark dice to enter. You will need to roll at least an 11 to hit on the dice. I've had my low roll of the night, right? For sure, Herb, yeah. Yep. Okay, closing the giveaway. Tulkir, give us our attack roll, please. From the tree line, you ready another strike? Let's see if it hits. Easy hit. Okay, so this becomes a 19 total. So another arrow streaks through the air, this one infused with a strange spiritual energy that courses, wrapping around the bowstring as you pull it back, and then infusing itself into the arrow itself. And you see this almost imperceptible mist trailing behind the arrow as it slams into what you can tell from your knowledge and experience is the creature's heart, piercing straight through the side of its hide and then disappearing into its body. And for a moment, there's silence. And then it just slowly falls to its side, crumpling into a heap as you annihilate this direwolf in 2 strikes. That was a lot of damage. Okay, so you still have your movement. Do you want to move anywhere on your turn, or do you want to stay? Hang on, it's not starting for some reason. There you go. How much overkill was that, if I may ask? So the creature had 37 HP, and you dealt 45 total in those 2 attacks. Okay, so I've opened the poll on the screen. Are you moving or are you staying still? As you still have your movement to resolve on your turn. You do currently have the cover of the tree line, and you do not need to move to attack. Yeah, so you're currently basically perched behind a tree, and you have a clear shot at pretty much all of these creatures. It's a little harder to hit the ones closer here, as they are partially covered by the tree itself, providing cover, most of which you ignore because of your sharpshooter feat. The only target you can see clearly is number 2 now. You could climb the tree. That's a very good point. You could climb up the tree to get a better line of sight on all of the creatures in the fight, as you would have the high ground. And we all know from a certain movie that it's all about the high ground. So I don't know if anybody wants to jump on board with that. No pun intended. It's up to you. I'll just give it a quick second because we've only got 3 votes at the moment, so. Okay, so with that, you decide, for a moment, you think about the fact that you want to stay safe, so you want to make sure you're not moving further into the fight when you don't need to. So instead, you look up and you start to climb up this tree. I just need an athletics check from you, chat, to see how well you do this, how elegant it is. This will have a +3 to the check. Oh, sorry, a +2 to the check. Just have to double check it. So an athletics check is something that basically tests your physical strength and your ability to carry out this act. Closing the giveaway. All right, Herb, give us our athletics check, please. Damn, that was fast. Okay, so with a total of 18, you fairly nimbly and expertly navigate your way up the tree. You do like a couple of what they call like salmon pulls or something. Like you're on like a Ninja Warrior or something. As you pull yourself up into the tree, nestle yourself up against it, supporting yourself against the tree bark itself, resting on one of the larger branches that extend outwards and give you a good line of sight over the entire battlefield. Ninja cannon. Yep, that's the one. Okay, so that's your turn. Alden, because you've not commanded Alden to do anything as a bonus action on your turn, is simply going to stay here. We are then... Actually, you know what? It's up to you, chat. I'm going to open the poll. Do you want Alden to stay here and wait, or do you want Alden to move in and begin to fight? Alden can only use movement at this point, but you can still get Alden closer to the combat if that's what you want. Wait. Okay, so closing that off then. So Alden looks to you expectantly, these large dark eyes staring up at you, awaiting some kind of instruction. You kind of just point to the ground. with a subtle whistle that doesn't extend past the tree line, and Alden just kind of, you can see the feathers and the fur kind of perk ever so slightly as Alden kind of buckles down, ready to go in, but obeys your order and waits. Okay, so we are now on the direwolf is dead. Goodbye, direwolf. We are on wolf number 2. Okay, so wolf number 2 is going to make a perception check to see what the fuck just happened. Has no idea. So this wolf looks around, desperately trying to figure out why its pack leader has very suddenly died. But doesn't see anything. Howls, seeing the lifeless body of the direwolf, and then continues to attack. So the first one is going to be a... Oh, actually, hang on. One sec. Okay, that's fine. So this first one is going to be an attack roll, a bite against Matthias. This is with advantage because Matthias is prone. Okay, so this does hit. So Matthias kind of backed up, collapsed a little bit from the wounds sustained around the legs. Takes another bite to the thigh as the wolf takes a chunk of flesh away. That is 7 points of damage to Matthias, who's already sustained pretty heavy injuries at this point. And it's not any worse. It's not any better for it, sorry. So now we're on Alaric's turn. Alaric moves forward just a little bit. Again, perching behind a tree, is going to use the magic missile spell. You watch as Alaric makes a series of gestures with his paw, and then as the paw begins to trace this circle, in the place of that circle appear, I believe it's 3. Let me just double check. Double check this. 3 darts, yeah. So these 3 glowing arcane darts appear that just streak out across, almost disappearing in the sunlight, but as they kind of pass through the various shades and shadows, slam into this wolf, into its back, piercing into its form, as it again yelps in pain. This would deal... Just gotta do quick maths. 9 points of damage to this wolf. Almost killing the wolf as it kind of staggers and sways and then manages to find its footing. We are now on wolf number 4. Wolf number 4 is going to do a perception check as well. Okay, yeah, so sniffing, seeing these occurrences take place, noticing something changing in the current circumstance, smells something, and then bounds around the side here. What's your speed? 40, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Matthias attempts to make an opportunity attack. That hits. 1 second. Okay, so dealing that much damage. Okay, so as the wolf leaves Matthias's attack range, Matthias lashes out, slamming the creature, almost knocking it into a nearby tree, but it continues to move forward. It seems as though this wolf has figured out that there is something in the tree line, but doesn't know exactly what yet. Welcome to the stream, James. If you'd like to have a little bit of a gander at this command, essentially we're playing D&D, where the entirety of chat controls one character. You can see a quick character panel in the top left of the screen. Chat is playing as Vilandria Ithildraden, the Tiefling Moon Elf Ranger. They've currently found themselves in a fight against a potential ally and a number of wolves that have attacked them. We are now on wolf number 3. Wolf number 3 is going to follow suit. So a number of these wolves begin to break off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And are now heading in the direction of Alaric, your cat wizard ally. Wolf number 1. Where are you? Oh, number 2? Oh, that's going to be confusing. Okay, never mind, it's fine. Okay. This one. The one that has been struck here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, okay. Notices Roga. What does chat do? Oh, no, it's okay, James. Don't worry about asking questions. So chat essentially votes for the actions of the character. I'm currently, right now, controlling the enemies. You play a single character down here, this one here, Villandria at the bottom of the screen that I'm wiggling. So when it gets to Villandria's turn, you will get a chance to decide how that character acts and also roll the dice for them to see if they are successful in whatever they want to do. It's currently the enemy's turn, so I'm just going through all of that. Okay. So we are now on Roga's turn. So Roga, your total companion, notices this and attempts to make a quarterstaff strike against the wolf that has approached. Manages to hit. So that is this one here. Okay, so smacking the wolf once with the staff. You hear the cracking of bone around the shoulder blade of this wolf. And that brings us on to Trenk. So Trenk, your halfling companion, moves up to block. Moves through here, then moves in front of Alaric, as Alaric is very clearly almost about to be surrounded by wolves, as they are what... as Alaric is the one that they have actually smelled. It's going to attempt to make an attack against the wolf to finish it off. That is a miss, I believe. Yep, that is a miss. So attempts to strike the wolf, but doesn't succeed. We are on Matthias' turn. Matthias makes his attack. 2 attacks. Natural 20. Another natural 20. So I'm not even going to roll anything for that. So this brief moment that you have afforded Matthias, this strange, decrepit, giant-like creature, allows him to get clear shots on the wolf next to him, slams down with one giant fist, and there is just this burst of blood. You don't see anything in particular over the tree and over its branches, but you hear the smushing sound and you watch the spurting of blood as whatever Matthias has hit basically explodes. Matthias then gets to his feet, moves over here, makes another attack against another one of these wolves, and also kills that one as well in a similar fashion. We are now on your turn, chat. So, James, we are now on chat's turn. So what would you like to do, chat? If you need to vote, you can follow what everybody else is doing in the chat here, which is doing !vote, space, and then you enter what your character would like to do. So right now, people are asking to do a bow attack on target number 2. Thank you, Max. So this is going to be a normal bow attack. Okay, so we can see on the top left there, the vote has been cast and everybody is voting to do attack number 2, or attack bow number 2. So I'm gonna open a dice roll like this, and anybody can now enter this giveaway with !dice in the chat. This essentially is a giveaway, and the person who wins will have permission to roll the dice in the chat. So if you would like to, James, you can type !dice And if you win, if your name comes up on the screen, you will get permission to roll the attack roll for our character. Okay, I'm closing the giveaway. Good luck, everybody. Would you look at that? James, you have won the giveaway. So, James, if you would like to type !roll in the chat, that will roll the dice for us and we will determine the result. We love it when newcomers get to roll. So when you're ready, James, it's !roll in the chat. What? The natural 19. Let's go, James. Okay, so you ready another attack. Perched up on the branch of this tree, you have a clear shot at target number 2. You know it's been injured. You know that all you need is a clean hit, nothing special. And the arrow leaves the bowstring, streaks down right over Roga's turtle shell, over his shoulder, slams straight down into this creature's chest as it rears back from the blow dealt to it. And it is a silent, merciful death as the creature falls to the ground into a pile of fur. All right, so there's your action. I'm assuming you'd like to stay still. Would you like to move? Would you like to use a bonus action? Your bonus action on your turn, you can either move the hunter's mark to a new target. Oh my god, that looks delicious. Thank you. You did best. Oh, that's not mine. Thank you, Tilly. What's your streaming schedule? So we do D&D every Saturday at 6 o'clock. I stream variety content throughout the week, so we have other streams, but D&D is every week on a Saturday. And I'm glad to hear you're enjoying it. Okay, so as your bonus action, you're choosing to have your owlbear companion move up to make an attack. Let me get rid of this target here. So the nearest target is number 3. Oh, we're BST at the moment, Shadow. Yeah, that's a good point. So, Owlden, your owlbear companion, you give the order, whistling once again in a slightly different tone, and pointing over to your designated target. Owlden rushes out from under the cover of the tree, streaking through the undergrowth with an almost impossible speed, all of the strength and momentum built up, ready to fight at a moment's notice, and is going to make an attack against number 3. So, I'm opening the giveaway once again, as you have to roll for Owlden's attack. Honestly, James, it's not a bad idea to do that just to learn the ropes. Yeah. Chat doesn't always agree. Okay, so enter the giveaway if you want to again. You can do it as many times as you want. I believe Owlden has a charge attack, so yeah, so Owlden has traveled at least 20 feet. So if this attack hits, the target will take extra damage and it may be knocked prone. Yeah, so I can give you an example. James, watch this. I can do !vote, do the thing, right? And that comes up as a vote in the vote bot. So you can choose whatever you want. Okay, so closing the giveaway. Shadow squared. All right, let's see if Owlden can land this attack. Oh no, Shadow! Pange! So with all of this built up momentum and speed, Owlden is a little over-eager. And as Owlden approaches, raises one paw a little bit too early and loses balance and trips over some roots poking up out of the ground and isn't able to stabilize quick enough and just slides about 5 foot forwards and is now right next to this creature, prone. No tone is about time. That's okay. No, we're fine. I'm fine. I'll eat it in a couple of minutes. I don't think this combat's gonna last that long with the way things are going. Okay, so with your turn over, Alden has attacked. We are now at this wolf over here. This wolf is going to... Yeah, I mean, this is what it would do. It sees an animal down near its feet, is going to try and attack Alden. It gets advantage because it's prone. So that is a natural 20 on Alden right now. Unfortunately. So Alden takes 14 points of damage. As the creature, as desperate as it is, it's just flailing, but sees Alden down on the ground and bites straight for the jugular. It doesn't quite seep down deep enough or at the right angle to deal fatal damage, but Alden just instinctively struggles against the grapple and shrieks in pain as this unfortunate circumstance has happened. We are then at Alaric's turn. So Alaric, your cat wizard companion, seeing that this creature is low, is going to do another magic missiles. So this arcane magic, this particular spell, guaranteeing a strike, albeit at a lower severity than some of the other magic that Alaric has available. Another 3 of these darts appear, almost like a crown around Alaric's head as he waves this hand, this paw, and then they streak out one by one, slamming into this wolf as it just kind of regains its balance after striking against Alden. These 3 darts slam, one into the eye, one into the nose, and one into the chest as it recoils backwards, and then falls lifeless on the ground beside him. Would Alaric say hand or paw? It would definitely be a paw, yeah. Okay, so we are on... This one here. Gotta remove some players from the initiative real quick. Alright, that's convenient. So, we now have the final wolf, which is going to... Oh no, you're dead. Oh, everyone's dead, chat. You killed them all. Go, look at you. Okay, so we actually end combat here with these arcane darts slamming into the final wolf as peace falls across this glade, and you now have Matthias, who is still kind of limping, but is in the process of getting to his feet. All right, so we're out of initiative here. Ooh. Okay. So, the ruckus dies down. You have dealt with this problem incredibly swiftly, potentially saving Matthias from mortal wounds. What would you like to do? Matthias just kind of drags himself up to the fallen tree and seems to rest in almost like a cradling posture up against the branches. Opening the paw. You can hear just this slow, steady whine and this heavy breathing of this creature in pain. Hugs. We love hugs. We're all about the hugs here. No worries, Susanna. We're going to be done pretty soon, so that's not a problem. Thank you for the raid again, Susanna. I really appreciate it. Take care of yourself. Okay. So, first things first, you ask Trink, your companion, to heal Alden. He expends use of his healer's kit instead of using magic, which you may need later, as he has the healing feat as of level 4. Or healer feat, sorry. So Alden gets back... Double check this. 1d6 plus 4. So 7... 11. Okay, so Alden gets 11 hit points back. Almost taking him back to full. Okay, so Trenk bandaging and cleaning the wounds of Alden. Alden is starting to trust Trenk at this point. Alden only takes orders from you. This ordinarily very dangerous creature. Owlbear's not usually the kind of animals to, partake in any kind of subjugation whatsoever. But Alden is starting to warm to your companions as well. What would you like to do? What would you like to do about the Matthias situation here? Matthias doesn't seem to really be paying attention to you and your group. Seems to be fairly absorbed in just cradling the wounds and some form of, self-pity or distress. I'll move him over there. Okay, so you and I'm gonna say you and Roga, your total companion, move up to Matthias. Matthias, as you approach, instinctively begins to recoil up against the tree, trying to back away from you and kind of raising a hand in defense. Doesn't seem to really understand the situation, may have not even noticed that you helped at all, just realizes now that you're here. As Matthias seems to be kind of cowering away from you in a more defensive position, but not at this point in time immediately trying to attack you. So you are trying to offer help, so I need you to give me a persuasion check. This will be with advantage, as Roga is going to help you. So we will be rolling twice. Hello, Archfey. Good to see you again. Hello, Yuna. Great to see you too. I have a stacked salad, so look at this. It's like advanced nachos. Oh, Varsity, thank you very much. Okay, so with this, you once again call upon the spirits to soothe your voice, to create a persona in this moment that is more comforting than something you feel you're ordinarily capable of being. That's okay, Archfey, no problem at all. We're actually going to be finishing pretty soon, so don't worry about that. You can maybe catch the next one. Okay, so, closing the giveaway.
What a vibe!
Neen, thank you so much for the resub. I really appreciate it. 13 whole months. Thank you for all of the support. That's a long time to be subscribed to the channel. Thank you very, very much, Neen. There's ducks. Well, I guess I gotta add some ducks now. I don't really have a choice, do I? Okay, closing the giveaway. Archfey, there you go. Okay, Archfey, hit us with that roll. Roll and leave. The drive-by roll. Okay, so the power of the spirits imbuing with you with just enough of their power to essentially remove the ordinary penalties that you may have. We have one more roll. We cannot roll lower than that now. This is good. So we get one more roll here to see if we can go any higher. The way that it works is that when somebody helps you with something, as Roga is doing right now, you get to roll twice, and if we have advantage, that means we take the highest number. If we have disadvantage, we take the lowest number. Okay, closing the giveaway. Slow Turtle. Thank you very much for joining in. Hit us with that roll, please. Okay, so it's not a problem. We still have our cozy higher number there. So going with that and the aid of Roga, as Roga approaches, kind of offering both hands out in a very kind of soothing motion, and you can hear just this very gentle, it's almost like a, how would I explain this? There's like this thrum, this low humming sound that Roga is emitting, this kind of deep vibrating in the throat that kind of comes off as like almost like a lullaby. These cascading notes rising and falling of just like this approaching with both hands up, and both of you approach. Matthias begins to drop his guard, and you begin between the two of you to try and bandage some of the wounds. I need a medicine check from you, chat, to see if you can determine the kind of injuries that have been sustained here, if there's anything more to those injuries than simple bite wounds and gashes. As you are doing this, your total companion Roga kind of moves towards the back of Matthias and begins to detach the cage, which is very clearly causing some distress. As Roga kind of pulls back some of the linen around the shoulders, you can see that the quite dark gray blotched skin of Matthias is very clearly worn. There are friction marks and some wounds that are very clearly being sustained recently from an immense amount of strain on this cage. The pure weight of it and anything pulling on it, perhaps the wolves themselves, creating, these indents in the flesh. And Roga kind of detaches the cage, slowly lowering it down to the ground, and Matthias's posture begins to loosen. Okay, so closing the giveaway. All right, Bean. And no worries, James. Thanks for stopping by. I hope to see you again. Don't hesitate to stop by anytime. We'll be glad to have you. Okay, so with a 17 plus, I believe your modifier is 3. Let me just double check. Yep, so with a plus 3, as you look over the wounds, you're seeing similar situation where the Matthias is very clearly, endured a lot of damage in this fight. You get a sense that it's not necessarily that Matthias was not capable of fighting back. It seems like Matthias was overwhelmed by the circumstances, perhaps the sound and the situation, being surrounded by these wolves, impairing Matthias's ability to think properly and to respond adequately. Judging by the 2 blows that you saw Matthias deal to these wolves, if Matthias was in the right state of mind, there's no question that he should have been able to win this fight against these wolves, regardless of being outnumbered. The wounds sustained here indicating that Matthias wasn't weakened prior to this combat in any meaningful way. There are obviously the burn marks and things like that of the ropes supporting this cage, but there's no medical reason for why Matthias wasn't able to win this alone. There just seems to have been some sort of issue with his psychological state. And you're not entirely unfamiliar with this kind of thing happening to people. It's been a long time since you felt a severe panic to the point of being unable to move, but Matthias was very clearly just scared and unable to fight back. Okay. But you do your best with some aid from Trenk as Trenk comes over. You bandage wounds, you offer some amount of healing. Do you want to use any magic to heal? It's up to you. Trenk can only bandage so many wounds without using magic himself. So I'm really asking, between you and Trenk, whether or not you want to use any healing magic, expending any resources. How cute is Matthias? I mean, visually, very intimidating looking creature. But now that you're interacting with Matthias, you're seeing that it seems to be a little bit more of kind of like a friendly giant situation. The pure size and imposing nature of this figure, the unfortunate deformities in his body, creating an appearance that is perhaps a lot more dangerous than he really is. Okay, so yes. All right, so we'll say with that, Trenk is going to expend a 2nd level spell to cure wounds, and you will use a 1st level spell to cure wounds. Okay, so Matthias, you watch as some of the wounds that have been created both from the battle that had just ensued and also the lesser wounds, the friction burns and cuts from the ropes begin to heal. The skin is still very discolored. There's very clearly a lot more to the disfigurement here than meets the eye, but nonetheless, a lot of the more severe and immediate injuries are repaired through magical means. Matthias does not offer any words as you try and get some kind of conversation out. Matthias does not seem to be physically able to respond. I want you to give me an insight check, chat, to see whether or not, regardless of whether or not there's an audible response, if it seems as though Matthias is able to listen and comprehend your words, to understand the situation and understand your explanations and your questions. Alden and Alaric are just kind of chilling at the back. Alaric is trying to keep a distance away from Alden, who keeps looking towards him, and you can tell that Alaric sometimes just kind of hisses from behind you at a distance. As Alden's naturally predatory instincts are still very much there. Okay, so this will be a +5, I believe. Let me double check. Okay, closing the giveaway. Okay, so Kite, hit us with that insight check, please. So with a total of 16. As you look towards Matthias and you try your best, realizing fairly early that Matthias doesn't seem to be able to respond with words, you are simply trying to figure out whether or not Matthias is listening to you, understanding what you're saying, and understanding your intent. Over the course of everything that's taking place, this whole circumstance developing over about half an hour, you get a sense that Matthias does understand your words. The more complex things that you try to convey seem to be a little bit lost. But as you're doing things like, you're asking, can you move your arm? And Matthias tentatively raises an arm. Things like that, simple meanings seem to get through to Matthias perfectly well. But the more kind of complex you get, the more difficult it is to get any kind of meaningful response. With your insight check, you get the sense that it's not necessarily a language issue. It's not that Matthias speaks another language that you don't understand. You just get a sense that either because of injuries or It could be nutritional. It could be a number of different reasons. Matthias's mental facilities seem to be somewhat impaired at the moment. You don't know if this is temporary or it is permanent, but you know that there's definitely there's something impeding his ability to comprehend more complex ideas. But nonetheless, you feel confident that there is no immediate sense of danger between the two of you. You don't feel like you're at risk of any kind of altercation with Matthias. And Matthias is at this point at least amicable with you. It's too far to go so far as saying like trust or any kind of relationship building. But you do definitely get a sense that he no longer feels threatened by you. And you get a sense that you definitely wouldn't want to pick a fight with him. Definitely not one-on-one. But at this point in time, he is not a danger to your group. So my last question to you, chat, to finish off the session is, what are you going to do next? Now, I can offer some suggestions through the characters, such as Trank asking you whether or not you would like to travel with Matthias and perhaps bring him back to the High Shields, or back to the town, or take him somewhere a bit safer than where he is right now. As Matthias still seems pretty shaken, but is definitely healthy enough to walk on his own. So what would you like to do? So we could go things like return Matthias. You could simply part ways and carry on with your day. Trank does say he doesn't think it would be necessarily wise to bring him on the adventure that you said you were going to head out on, but it's not off the cards. It could be Archfey. At this point in time, you're aware that the only people in the town itself that are capable of that kind of level of restorative magic are possibly the High Shields themselves, who are, as far as you're aware, the caretakers of this individual. They are the ones who gave him the task of rounding up dead bodies and bringing them for cremation. Okay, so it seems like, for the most part, some of these options are kind of the same. You want to make sure that Matthias is safe. What I'm just gonna ask a more specific question here. Are you going to bring Matthias to the High Shields or no? Because you could just bring him to a safe place to rest for a while and then leave him to get on his own devices, or you could personally escort Matthias to the High Shields. In this case, I assume yes would be taking Matthias to the High Shields themselves. Given the amount of time that's passed, you might be lucky enough to catch Akara High Shield, the human woman that you'd encountered a little bit earlier, about 40 minutes prior to this point in time, on her way back to the estate. There's no general dislike towards giants in the area, I suppose. No. Not as far as you're aware. You know that people are definitely a little afraid of Matthias just because his appearance is so, for most people, unsettling. But there is no general sense of hostility either. Okay. All right, so with that, Roga offers a hand down to Matthias, though it doesn't really do a whole lot, considering their size difference, to try and get Matthias back on his feet. It really just results in Roga kind of just tugging on a finger, and Matthias gets back to his feet. Roga does point towards the cage, and seems to motion towards it with a questioning gesture. One more question. Would you like Roga to take the cage? Because Roga seems to be strong enough to drag the cage behind him. Or are you going to leave the cage here? The cage currently has nothing in it, by the way. It is an empty, but very large, rusted cage. Absolutely, Archfey. It is about 10 o'clock in the morning. The cage is about a 6-foot square cage. It is very big. So Roga would be dragging it across the ground, as opposed to carrying it on his back. Okay, we currently have a 50-50 split. What we'll do here is we'll do a tiebreaker. So whichever one gets to 3 here. If anybody would like to vote or change their vote. Okay, so choosing to leave the cage behind. You have a little bit of discussion between yourselves, and you agree that, you know, anybody could come and grab this cage at any time. Doesn't have to be right now. It's the least important thing, and it's probably just going to draw more attention to yourselves. So you decide to leave the cage behind. So you set off back north, knowing that you'll only have to navigate a bit of the pathway before you're on the road towards the High Shield Estate directly north from here. So it will be a very simple journey. It will take some time. You estimate to get there from the map that you've been given and the distance that you've already traveled around the place is going to take you at a very slow pace, about 2 hours minimum to get there from where you are. But it's a journey that you're willing to do at this point in time. The day is barely started. You have the time to do this. So at the very least, you can do the right thing by helping Matthias out. So you travel north, and that's where we will end the session. As the bustle of the town re-enters your ears, the running lake that runs down towards the sea. And we will pick it up next time with the last leg of this journey and your arrival at the High Shield Estate itself. So, very good, chat. You did great. You absolutely fucking obliterated those wolves. Yeah, you absolutely clapped that direwolf. That was crazy. You do so much damage now. Your character is so OP.